Hi everyone, thank you so much for coming to hang out with me today. We are going to be having another Summer of Success project discussion. So, as most of you know, I posted on my Instagram stories earlier this week. The topic for discussion today was going to be motivation and action, and why we often fail to land the jump between getting motivated and taking action. So in that post, I opened it up for you guys to leave your questions and comments so that we could address those today and we could have some engagement and you guys could feel like you are getting what you need and your questions answered for encouragement. So the comments that came in, all of them, were about how well the Summer of Success project is working for you and how you are getting your Just Ones done. And that is amazing. That is incredible. I am so proud of you. And I see you. I see those Just Ones getting checked off. I see your Instagram stories, your posts, your planner pages. It is incredible. It's amazing. That was the whole goal. That was the whole reason I started this project in the first place. And it's incredible. I'm so proud of you. And hopefully these Just Ones become things that we can carry on long after summer is over. Hopefully it just becomes regular daily habits and we don't have to think about it. We just have good habits that we can carry on with. As far as the questions go, please excuse me, I am a pen, paper, and planner girl. I did write them down, so I will be looking away, looking down to refer to these as we go to make sure that I get them all answered. And because I did say in that Instagram stories post, the topic is going to be motivation and action, a lot of the questions were very, very similar. So I have batched them. There's 3 categories and I just kind of put all the similar ones together so we're not being repetitive and answering the same question over and over. So hopefully you feel like your question still got answered. If not, you can definitely reach out to me. That's totally fine. So to start, the first batch of questions that came in were, how did you get this idea? Or what made you want to start this project? Or where did you get the idea for the Summer of Success project? So for my whole life, I have just tried to spread positivity, hope, and encouragement whenever, wherever possible. It doesn't always work out, but I do try. But to fully explain where the specific Summer of Success project started, it starts somewhere tragic. Now, I'm not going to go in any details. I'm not going to stay in a negative space. I will just briefly explain so that you can understand why I did this, why it was truly important to me to do this and do it now. So from January of 2019 to January of 2020, 7 of my family members passed away. So for a whole year, I was waking up in grief every single day and figuring out how to keep going, how to keep living, how to keep doing the things that I needed to do. I have a husband, I have children, I have a home, I have a dog, I have things to get up every day for. You know, they were depending on me, I was depending on myself. I had to figure out how to just go about life again. And then to come out of that in January of 2020 and be launched into what we all know happened, right? Pandemic and lockdown was heavy, huge, indescribable. But in that, I eventually did find my bearings. And when I found my bearings in what was happening, I had 2 thoughts. My first thought was, I want to let people know that they are not alone. And I want to encourage people to get back to their life, to take things back, to get back to their goals, whatever it is, to take the steps to return to ourselves. Whatever it was, maybe it was the magic of the numbers or the cosmos or, whatever. I feel like so many of us said 2020 is our year. This is it. We are going after our goals. We are going to get fit. We are going on vacation. We are going to finish that novel. We're going to have good habits, whatever it is. I feel like we declared that for 2020, and then something out of our control happened. Well, I had been there. I had just been there. 2019 was all out of my control. There were good things. There were things to be grateful for, certainly. But it was a lot of heaviness. It was a lot of just getting out of bed in the morning. It was survival. And having just been through that, I thought, okay, I can do something. I can encourage people to pick up the pieces and to step by step, one by one, get things done, get back to our goals. So that was where Just One July came in. And then All in August is the reward. All in August is the payoff. We just proved to ourselves this month in July and the months prior, the year before, maybe our whole lives, we have just proved to ourselves that we are survivors. We're still here. We're doing the work. We can get it done one by one. We just did it. We just took the steps. We're coming back. And then All in August is when we go all in and we're like, you know what? We did the work. We're strong. We're survivors. I can freaking do this. So all in on the Couch to 5K, or all in on your first draft of your novel, all in on good habits, all in on giving up bad habits, whatever it is, we can do it. So that was where the idea for the Summer of Success Project came from. And I'm so glad that it's working for so many of you. It did have to come out of something hard, but I see that we are doing something good with it. And I'm proud of that. And I'm proud of you. And it is amazing. So for the questions, sorry, that was a little bit heavy, I understand. But hopefully you see the importance of it. And now for the questions. So because I did say the topic was motivation, a lot of the questions were about motivation. And the next ones were, how do you motivate yourself? How do you stay motivated? Or how do I stay motivated when things don't go as planned or when something bad happens? So I will start with how I stay motivated and how I keep myself motivated. I don't. I do not stay motivated. I do not keep myself motivated. Like I said, I am a wife. I am a mama. I'm a homeschool mama. I'm on the Happy Planner Squad. I have projects due. I have a house to keep up. I have a dog who's snoring right over here. I have yard work. I do not leap out of bed every morning motivated and ready to go. I do not burst into the grocery store ecstatic to run those errands. I do not bound on the treadmill totally pumped and jazzed to work out. I just don't do it. I'll explain. And this is where it comes in, the failure to leap and land the jump from being motivated and taking action. It was Ralph Waldo Emerson who said that it's not the destination, it's the journey. I'm not saying anything against that incredible quote. That is an amazing quote. And I totally agree that on the road of life, it's not the destination, it is the journey. But here's why I don't think that it applies to the road of goals. On the road of goals, we have to keep our eye on the destination, right? Motivation doesn't do anything without action. And we have to keep our eye on the destination. How many of us have ever saved up for a vacation or just to go out of town, to go somewhere, savings for something that we really wanted? It's just money in a jar, right? Money in a jar, money in a jar, money in a jar. We wouldn't do that without our eye on the destination. We would have no reason to have that good habit. Money in a jar or an envelope or the bank account, wherever it goes. Without our eye on the destination, doesn't mean anything. And it's not until we have reached that destination, our toes are in the sand on the beach of Hawaii, that we get that hindsight, that we can look back and see our journey. Oh my gosh, we had good habits that whole time. Oh my gosh, we did what it took to get here. So I believe that on the road to goals, we have to have our eye on the destination. We're really good at motivation, y'all. We're really good at it. We put it on stickers, we put it on posters, we stitch it on pillows. We've got quotes coming out of everywhere. But that motivation, it's not enough without our eye on the destination. So while I do not stay motivated and I do not motivate myself, I stay dedicated to the destination. Things are going to happen. There's going to be things that are out of our control. We have to stop or be stalled for something that, we have no power over. But if we are dedicated to the destination, we're going to get back to it. And this is what, there was a question about habits, about how to start good habits and stick with good habits. And we will do those habits. We will do the repetitive with our eye on the destination, right? If our goal is fitness, is to get fit, to feel strong, it's just steps on a treadmill, steps on a treadmill, steps. The CrossFit people like to say, I put down heavy things and pick them back up again. And that's just repetitive motion with your eye on the destination. If you want your novel published, it's just words on a page, words on a page, words on a page with your eye on the destination. The motivation is in you really wanting to get there, and you have to cling to that. I can't speak to what your goals are, but there's somewhere that you want to get to. So for the motivation to work, you have to have your eye on the destination. As far as what to do when things don't go as planned, something out of our control happens, again, it's important to stay dedicated to the destination. If something happens, let's say that your goal is fitness and strong, and you get an injury, well, don't give up. Move the parts of your body that you can move. A lot of the time, the reason that things fall apart is because we take our eye off the destination and we give up. And we can't give up. And that is where the motivation and the good habits come in, is keeping our eye on where we want to go and not letting a setback keep us back. Look at what just happened. But just by one step at a time, we can get back to it. If we're going to set out on this road to our goals, then we need to make sure that there's not a mess in the road, right? If we go out on a journey and there is a heap of whatever in our road, we are going to hightail it back home or look for a shortcut, right? And we just need to clean up our mess in the road. For some of us, it's physical spaces. For some of us, it's mental spaces. For others, it's both sometimes. And we need to clean up those messes before we can go anywhere. So for example, I'll just use the treadmill because I see this a lot. Motivation is great. We have listened to the podcast, or we've listened to the playlist, or we've read the positive quotes, we've pumped ourselves up, we've watched that YouTube video. If we go to the treadmill and it has become a clothing rack, then that motivation is nothing because we can't take action, right? We're stressed out and we have immediately given up. So motivation, action, in between, we need to clean up the mess in our road. If it's your mental space and not your physical space, that's going to look different, right? We're going to have to deal with that mental space cleanup a little bit differently. For some people, that's counseling and therapy. For other people, that is meditation or prayer. And for others, it's just processing it through journaling. I'm not a physician. I'm not advising you on what to do. I think that deep down, all of us know what it is that we need to do to clean up our mental spaces and our physical spaces. And by using just one, we can certainly clean up our physical spaces. And it's on us to take care of our mental spaces. So we've got to do that. If we set out and there's a mess in the road, we are going to look for the easy way around, or we're just going to give up and go back home. So motivation, we can have so much of it, but if we are not doing the work, then we are not going to get to action. And as far as how to stay motivated when something tragic happens, here's what I learned. It's important to deal with our emotions, not dwell in our emotions. So we reach a point where we are not dealing with the emotions, we are dwelling in the emotions. And our brains, those brains, we like to stay in the dwelling because it's comfortable and familiar. It's what we've done. It's what we've trained ourselves to do. As awful as it is, it's a comfort zone. We need to deal with the emotions and we need to move on. We need to stop dwelling. And it's unhealthy, and we dwell and tell ourselves it's self-care sometimes, which is incredibly unhealthy. Certainly we need a day off. We need time off. We need to rest. We need to recharge. We need to watch a minute of Netflix. But we need to recognize when we are dwelling and no longer dealing. Physical space, mental space, stay dedicated to your destination. You guys, good habits. We lie to ourselves about how hard and out of reach good habits are, right? Y'all, we were born babies. We were born not knowing anything, and then repetitive motion, learned to crawl, learned to walk, learned to talk, learned to feed ourselves, to brush our teeth, to take a shower. And how hard was that for the little baby? I mean, seriously, But it's things that have to be done, right? And we tell ourselves that these good habits are so hard, so hard. It's so out of reach. It's so hard. Gosh, I don't know why we do it. If I did know, we'd stop. It'd be done. And it's a lie. And so the just one is tricking our brains, you know? It's just 1/2 gallon of water. It's just one green smoothie. It's just getting up 1 hour earlier in the morning. But really, that's the truth. It's not total trickery because it's not a lie, but for whatever imagined reason, we have told ourselves that these goals and healthy habits are so far out of reach. It's so much easier to stay in the unhealthy things. But that's only because it's comfortable. Get uncomfortable for a little while and then it'll become comfortable. You know, babies were uncomfortable learning to crawl, learning to walk, you know, all the things that we had to learn. It's not always pleasant, but with our eye on the destination, we will get there. Right? I hope so. Gosh, I hope so. We've got to do it, you guys. We've got to take it back. We've got to get back to life. You know, we can do it. We're survivors. Look at what we have been through and we can take it forward on our journey. So, motivation is not as important as eye on the destination because sometimes we're not going to be motivated. It's not important that you've listened to the perfect playlist. It's not important that you have slapped down the right motivational sticker. It's not as important that you have watched that YouTube video. It's important that you get on the treadmill or you get in front of the computer to write or you do whatever it is. Even if you're like, gosh, I don't want to do this, but I'm showing up because my eye is on the destination. It's more important that you just show up. Show up for yourself. Show up for those goals. You know, we don't always have to be amped and motivated at all time. To take the leap and land the jump between motivation and action, in here needs to be cleaned up. In here needs to be willing to do the work. In here needs to be willing to take the steps, you know, willing to have the good habits. We are not going to set out on the journey looking for the shortcut. Our brains are like, oh, I've been here before. Here's the tree where I turn around and go back home. Here's the shortcut self-sabotage. You know, we've been on this road, and this time we're going to clean it up. We're going to make sure that if we run into a bump in the road, that we are not just going to give up. You know, we're not going to turn around and hightail it back home. We are prepared to tackle it every step of the way. I really hope that you do it, you guys. I really hope that you see it through. So those were the questions, the why did I do it, the motivated, the good habits, the stick with good habits. Yes, I believe that we will stick with it if we have our eye on the destination. I love Ralph Waldo Emerson, but I don't believe that quote applies to the road of goals. We've got to take the steps. So that's it for this. If you feel like you didn't get your question answered, or if you have a question now after having watched this, please reach out to me. I am here for you. I am available. Also, I do share most of the Summer of Success information on my stories, so make sure that you're watching those so you don't miss anything. Challenges. There are challenges that I am doing all throughout the summer, and each challenge participated in is an entry into a giveaway that I will be doing at the end of August. Is it bribery to get you to go after your goals? Maybe, possibly, but it's worth it. I mean, there's going to be reward, right? Right. So the goals can be done, or the challenges, can be done retroactively. So you can check in my highlights for the Summer of Success and you can see what past challenges were, so you can participate in those. Just find a way to let me know. If you're not comfortable sharing it publicly, totally cool, totally fine. Just find a way to let me know and then I'll get you entered into the giveaway. So any more questions, comments, please let me know. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today and take care.